Recording. There we go. Welcome everyone for another episode of Vibe Thursdays. Today, different from all usual content, we're going to have two legends of go-to-market to cover marketing, advertising with Autocar, and email automation, lead acquisition, and all of the good selling good sales automation style with Charles. Have been working for a while. Both of them are friends from more than 2 years ago, and it's going to be a very special session because just to give some context, we are in the season 6 of Artisan, and Artisan is a big fund for vibe coders. All of the projects here, they can receive grant funding from our fund, and we have received almost $20,000 of donations. I didn't expect that, but we are so close to our target of 20K. Thanks everyone that have contributed. And now for the projects to unlock this amount of money or funds, they need to sell. So we have some projects here that are going very well, some others not that much, because we want to fund projects that are giving real impact, solving real pains. So this is very important. If you haven't submitted your project yet, make sure to come to the Artisan page. I'm going to put here in the chat for you to find that. Make sure to come here, submit your project as soon as possible so that you can get votes, you can get community votes for your project to get curated. If it's in the curation threshold, your project is going to be eligible for receiving grant funding. So the earlier you put your project here, the earlier you start your campaign, the better. If you don't know how to vibe code, how to build your app, how to build your SaaS, or even how to sell your SaaS, this is the place for you to be, for you to receive all of this content and resources. So this is why I suggest you to come to our calendar here. We'll just send that in the chat too, so that you can subscribe as a builder or maybe a student or supporter if you want a mentorship or a full founder program. Come here and join one of those tiers as you need, and make sure to follow our calendar. Today we have this great event about Vibe go-to-market. We're going to be doing things in New York, upstate, with the Buffalo, University of Buffalo. Then we are about to announce that. It's not public yet, but you're going to have a very big event here with Shopify. Last Tuesday, we just had one event with Windsurf with almost 500 attendees. So New York is a great place for us to find vibe coders. If you want to be part of this community, even if you're not here, subscribe for this calendar. You're going to have all of the resources, all of the recordings, and you're going to receive the mentorship and the support needed. And without further ado, I'm going to shut my mouth and let the specialists present themselves. Otakar first, and then Charles, to bring the best content about going to market, how to acquire clients, how to sell your SaaS, your business, your services, and how to reach higher valuations.
Should I start with
Please introduce yourself, Otakar.
Hi guys, I prepared a presentation, so I'll share it. And a second. And I assume that most of you sort of like have or are maybe finishing some sort of a cool project with AI. I did one as well. We promoted it. And I've been doing marketing for a very long time, but promoting like a cool project with AI, it didn't really go how I would expect. So I would like to talk about some of the challenges that you are likely to face and that I faced. That was not really what you would expect, because you usually think like, it's a very cool project, it's gonna work, but it doesn't have to always be like that. And I've been doing marketing for 15 years. I basically never did anything else. I started doing it while I was going to school. I never had a job. I never worked in a restaurant. Like, I did nothing else. And I think that I have two sort of things that I think are very cool. I don't know if you're gonna find it cool, but it's two sort of things that I'm quite proud of. I'm not a billionaire, but there are those two things, and you will get to know them throughout the presentation because they sort of make sense with the other things that I would like to talk about. And one of the successes that's also gonna tie out into what I'm gonna talk about later is one of the products that I was promoting, or I'm promoting even today, the ads are running. Have you ever seen like one of these smart scales? It just like it tells you the fat percentage, you know.
I'm
And
very against
you
this
can
kind of material here, bro. I don't like this, bro. You are fat shaming people. Just kidding. Keep going.
yeah, like it's not a particularly interesting product. You know, like it's a smart scale. You maybe can get one for like $30 with the phone. One of the things that I'm promoting that I actually made maybe some of the most money with is a consultation where you get measured on the scale and then you get a consultation with a nutritionist, which is essentially a sales pitch for like a meal plan that costs around $1,000. You know, it's not something that you would feel like, okay, yeah, this is a great deal. This is very cool. It's not very cool. It's a measurement on a scale and a sales pitch, and then you get essentially like a little book done by a nutritionist that tells you what to eat. That is the product, and of course I have to promote it without saying that people will actually lose weight, because you can't say that on Facebook unless it's guaranteed for everyone. You cannot say it, so I cannot say people will actually lose weight. So it's something quite difficult to promote. But even though it seems very bad, you will see how this is kind of relevant later, because with this very boring and uninteresting offer, I made millions in revenue. I managed to promote it for like 15 years non-stop. Every month there is, in Czech Republic, it's a small country. If it was a bigger country, it would be more. But in Czech Republic, it's every month like 1,000 or 1,500 leads for this, for people to pay to go on a scale that almost they pay as much as the scale would cost. And yeah, we managed to generate a lot of leads for it, and much cheaper than even the company. So of course I'm very proud of that, because to be promoting the same thing profitably for so long is very cool. I don't know if it's very cool for you if you're not for marketing. For me, I find it like a great success of mine. But there is a reason why I was also talking about this, which is that this is something I'm not interested in weight loss. I'm very skinny. I never had this issue. I have the opposite issue. I don't know anything about it. I don't find it very interesting. I was very successful promoting it. When I try to promote something that I'm very enthusiastic about, which you probably all are, you know, enthusiastic about your app, your project, your whatever you're making, I usually fail promoting these things. I did some marketing courses. The people that saw them, I even got contacted like 8 years later after I did one of the courses by a guy that owns like the biggest marketing engines in Czech Republic. He was like, "Oh, it's great. I wonder what you learned since then." You know, he loved it, but I didn't really manage to sell it very profitable. Maybe it was a great course, but I never made much money with it, other than, of course, that it got me some clients, which ended up being profitable. But it was difficult for me to sell, and I think it's something to really watch out for, because of a few reasons. It's a bit of a trap, I think, because you fail to see all the issues with it that, you know, other people would, let's say, you know, if you don't like something, you will pick up on, like, you will sell it a lot harder. If you like something, then you assume everybody does, and it's just like it puts you in a bit of a trap. So it's very good when you're doing marketing to have someone that is not very interested to look at it. If you're someone from your family that is, you know, like not very technical, not very interested, they are a very good person to be consulting the marketing with. Like, make sure that they understand what it is, what it does, because they are a good person to consult it with. If you just show it to friends that understand what it is, you will not get a very good feedback, because the person seeing the ad is going to be someone scrolling on social media. They don't care, you know, they are not interested, they are looking at something else. Like, you sort of get a better feedback, because what I think that marketing, a lot of people like view it in a bit of a wrong way, because you see some ads and you think like, oh yeah, this ad is really cool. You know, you look at the ads as an owner and you think like, oh, this ad is very cool, but it doesn't mean that it's a very good ad. Because a good ad doesn't necessarily have to look good or follow any advice that, you know, people are generally giving on the internet. I will get more into that a bit later. I think that marketing is a bit more like programming, because you have someone who's not a buyer, then you need to do the marketing so they become a buyer, and that always is a process where where a lot of things need to happen. For each product, it's different things that need to happen in a different order. It's a process. For me, it's like building a factory or something like that. It's like a line where you discover, okay, this is where the person is now, and this is where they need to get. So you need to get someone that is just scrolling social media uninterested into someone that is interested. And usually that is not achievable in 15 seconds, for example. So you will see more in examples. There can be an easy case. For example, if someone is searching Google for, I don't know, Asus RTX 5090, you probably are gonna know what it is. It's a graphics card. Then probably you can assume the person knows what it is, the person knows how it works, the value. And if you just make them secure that the product is going to get delivered, that it's going to get delivered fast, that they will get some sort of customer support after they buy it, it's an easy sell. There is not that much that needs to be done. It's something that the people already know. The sale can be quite easy. But if you came up with something new and very cool, like I thought we did with our app, you think that people are gonna love it. It's much better than what's been there. You know, you love it, but the people, they don't. And to sell it is much more difficult, despite the product being better. So, for example, as I was talking about the nutritionist thing, so the traditional way was that what I was promoting for all these years, even up until today, it's still working. You go to a nutritionist, you pay $1,000, you get a paper little book that they come up for you, and it says like, okay, you should have this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for dinner, and it's calculated based on the time that you went there. It doesn't adjust, that's what you get. So we did like an AI app that's sort of like AI nutritionist. It's much better. You can choose whatever meal you want to eat, and it doesn't get calculated only at one point. It always adjusts. So when your weight changes, all the recipes, they adjust to you so you can eat what you want. It's calculated much better than a nutritionist ever could, because it even adjusts to when you exercise during the day. It's far better, and it doesn't cost $1,000. It costs like 50. It's better in every single way. You can always ask questions. You know, it's a great thing, but to sell it, it's more difficult than the old option. And the thing that you usually don't realize is that, like, everybody understands that it's what is a nutritionist. They see a person in a white coat, they study it, okay, it's gonna work. But most people, they never heard about any weight loss AI app. They don't know what it is. They don't know how it works. They don't know whether they can trust it. They don't understand it. So the sales process has to be very, very different and a lot more difficult. And I don't know if I put it in the presentation, in case, I don't know if you'd be interested, but basically, to sell the old school, the not very good, consultation on a scale, I can have just a landing page with text-based, really boring landing page. It works fine. It will be one page of text. Okay, and it sells, it works. I managed to keep working it for like 15 years. But when we tried this for the app, a much better thing, much better service, it didn't work at all. It didn't sell at all. We tried 2 versions of these pages, it didn't work. And what worked in the end was the funnel that is like a questionnaire funnel. We sort of, because it became so long, the sales process, that we decided to do like an interactive funnel. And it was 23 pages of text in Word. I was coming up with a funnel in Word, then like it's very complicated. And it's 23 pages of text and 60 questions. So to sell the app, we had to come up with this. This was the thing that actually started working. So despite the product being a lot better, because people don't understand it, the sales process had to become a much more complicated and much longer. Because to get a person from the one point to another, there are just a lot more things that you have to achieve. And this is also one of the reasons why it's good to have someone that's not very interested in your product and doesn't understand it. And then you have to try to explain it to them and get them to say like, okay, you know what, I think it's cool. And then you will realize that if you're trying to explain some cool new idea, it will take a lot longer than if you're explaining something that they already know. So it's the same with the sales process. And for me, I was expecting that there might be, like some hiccups, but since I had so much experience promoting something very similar, I thought it's gonna go smoothly, but it didn't. We just did a lot of things and it had to become a lot more complicated. So as I was saying, we had like 2 different landing pages, which is something that historically worked. It still works, but for the app, it doesn't, because it's too many things that the people need to learn for it to be digestible on a page. Then we even tried like a WhatsApp conversation that people click on an ad and then they talk to, it was done through ChatGPT, and they go through a script, and the script was very good. We were also putting it together with my friend that has been doing sort of like face-to-face selling for a very long time. He's very good at coming up with the script. So it was sort of like me and him working on this like hybrid. It's going to be online, but sort of like a face-to-face selling as well. And that also didn't work very well for other reasons, maybe not because of the script, but it also didn't work. The thing that worked was the questionnaire. And maybe another lesson with this is that you might have a great product, but it might take some time to figure out how to sell it. It's probably not gonna be that straightforward, and it's definitely not gonna sell itself. And for us, the questionnaire was good because it was one of the only ways to keep the attention for long enough to sort of solve and explain everything that needed to be solved and explained before the person takes out the wallet and says like, okay, I want this. I understand what it is. I understand what it's going to do for me. I believe that it's going to do this thing for me. Okay, and I'm ready to take out the wallet. So that for us, for example, was pretty good. And here's the second thing that I was talking that I'm quite proud of. Of course, when we were coming up with this funnel, we wanted to know whether the one that we made is any good. So we copied the closest competitor, which is Noom. They are valued at 3.7 billion. They have over 1,000 employees, and they've been doing sort of like a similar type of a funnel for a very long time. They are, I think, one of the biggest weight loss apps. There are other ones that are quite big, but they are one of the biggest. So we copied their funnel, we did our own. And the one that we did was working better than the version that sort of like we copied from them for, of course, like for the benchmark purposes. So I was pretty proud of that. And here are some, of course, there will be a lot of things to talk about on how to promote something successfully. And I don't know exactly your products, because it's going to be very different for, of course, everything. But it's extremely good to analyze a lot your competitors that you know have something that is working, but not necessarily to copy it, but look at them and then try to decipher what are they solving. For example, did they discover that, like, with the weight loss, it would be like that people blame themselves. They believe, okay, it's not gonna work because I don't have enough will. It's gonna fail because of me. The product might be good, but it's failing because of me. Or did they discover that, I don't know, they don't want to give up drinking alcohol, or whatever it is? There's gonna be a lot of things. So look at the competitors and I was thinking someone was raising a hand there, but it's just a picture. Sorry. So there are gonna be a lot of these things that you can pick up on, and then you can solve them in your own way. There might be a lot of ways to sort of work with, like, these objections and these things that need to be solved before a person buys. And there are gonna be different types of funnels, but it's important to get to know all the steps that need to be solved before the people take out the wallet. So actually, here is pretty much what I was talking about. Like, look for things it could be if they blame themselves in case of the weight loss, or if they blame the things that they tried, or maybe they never tried anything like this, maybe they don't know the benefit. There are tons of things that need to be solved, and you are gonna find them very well by looking at the marketing of the competitors. And it's good to look at it in sort of like more depth and really spend some time thinking about it, because not even me, when I look at it, I immediately realize what are they trying to achieve with the things they have there. If we had more time, we could go through, but I don't know if the weight loss topic is probably not very relevant for you. But for example, go through some pages and then see what the things are actually there for, because a lot of times it's not very obvious. They might have a question in the funnel, and it seems like a very innocent question, but it's not. It usually has a deeper meaning behind it and a deeper function. So it's yeah, it is important to do this research. And once you have it, and there are many formats that you can try to solve these things in. How I was saying, like, are you gonna do a written landing page? Are you gonna do sort of like some sort of a quiz funnel? Or are you gonna do like a chat consultation that the ads that will lead to a chat, and then it's gonna be sold by a chatbot? It's gonna be following some sort of script, hopefully, or some sort of guidelines. There are many formats that you can use, and I would recommend to test all of them, because when we tested it, some things would be to kill the project. Nothing didn't work at all. And then in another format, it might work. Yeah, so it's pretty much, I also sort of talked about this. I'm not really following the presentation very well. You should view marketing as like a factory assembly line or something that just needs to perform specific tasks for the person to buy in the end. It's a process, and then you're using, of course, different tools to achieve those things. It could be the design of the page, whether it's you want to have it ugly or whether you want to have it more beautiful. Each has a different effect on a person. Sometimes beautiful is good, sometimes beautiful is not very good, because it immediately looks like an ad that's trying to sell something, and that's maybe not what you want. So sometimes it's better to have a uglier page. There is one thing to look out for, which is that you can never be hoping to be changing people's opinions very much. It's always about working around the beliefs that they already have. Like, yeah, like a lot of the ads, they are trying to change people's mentality or giving them orders. It's not about that. You have to be working with what do people believe in and somehow fit it in a way that it works for what you are trying to achieve. And let's do a little bit of a recap and also share a few more tips. So watch out for being too enthusiastic about your product, because it usually blinds you and then you come up with marketing that's not gonna work. It's good to have someone that's not very interested, that's quite pessimistic, and try to present it to them, sell it to them, make sure that they understand if they don't know anything about your product. Because especially like with these cool projects, it's very easy to end up in a trap. At least that's almost where we ended up with our AI nutritionist sort of ad thing. As we just thought it's so much better. There is no competition, but it turns out that that doesn't mean that it's gonna sell well. That it's better, that it's amazing, doesn't mean that it's gonna sell at all. Yeah, that's basically the second point. And another quick advice in the end that I would like to give you is to forget about simple advices. Like a lot of people that are asking me or get excited about advice that's like, your video needs to be 15 seconds for an ad. Like, no, I never found any correlation with this. It's like saying that your app needs to have 15,000 lines of code. Now, I don't know about how many lines of codes apps have, but it's about as relevant. It needs to be as long as it needs to be. Just like with the app, it needs to have as much of the code as you need for that function. It's the same with marketing, and it always depends on what you are promoting, who are you promoting it to. And like these simple advices, they are very nice. People like it because they're easy to follow, but they are not gonna help you create something good. I think that they are gonna make you more likely to do something that is actually not good. And another thing is that you kind of need to know that you are not gonna be able to predict something. Like even when we were doing the app that I was promoting it for 15 years, a very similar thing, I still couldn't predict what's gonna work. I can't predict what's gonna work. I'm never doing something else. I still don't know. We still tested many things, and some of it worked. Some of it didn't. So you just need to be testing everything, and be careful when someone offers you, in terms of the marketing, things like, if an agency offered you like, okay, you can get 100,000 impressions for $1,500, for example. It doesn't mean anything. It's like being offered 100 gallons for $1,500, but they don't tell you 1,000 gallons of what. Is it water? Is it whiskey? I don't know. Just buy a sample and see what it is. See if it's good. Like, I can't tell. No, like nobody that I know can tell. So it's all about testing. There can be something that seems very, very cheap. It's not gonna work at all. There can be something that's gonna be expensive. It's gonna work very well. And it's more often the case for me, at least. But of course, it's not a rule. You just have to test it. It's good to do very small tests. I would never agree to spend a big amount of money on a single thing and be like, okay, this is gonna work. No, I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm gonna spend very little and see. I'm gonna spend very little on 50 things and then see which one works, because some of them probably will. But doesn't matter how great the deal might sound, it's never worth it to put a lot of money on something unknown. And there is a last tip that I can give you, is to forget about your pride a little bit, because it's not really you who should be deciding about how the website looks, how your ads are gonna look. I mean, you can be deciding about it, but then you're not really running a business. Then it's a hobby. You are doing something for your own joy. It's not really doing marketing, in my opinion, very much. And I can give you a little thing for illustration. A long time ago, it's now we are friends, but a long time ago, I got approached by this lady. She was a real estate agent, and she was reasonably successful. She wrote a book, and she was trying to sell the book. It was about investing in real estate, and the book wasn't selling very well. She was spending, money on ads, but she was not getting any sales. And she asked me to do ads for her, and I went. I did some ideas, of course, for the ads, and of course it was unpleasant to show her. I didn't want to show her the ads at all, but I thought, like, okay, this might work. We were testing it. She agreed, and the ad that we did for her, it was in Czech, so I tried to translate more or less how it was. But trust me, it was pretty offensive to her. The comments, they were not the best either. It was not the most pleasant thing to show her, but the ad worked really, really well. And it said something like how a girl from the wrong side of the tracks bought a house and paid off her mortgage in a year. She had a nice professional ad, like talking about some benefits, or how to invest in real estate from this real estate agent with I don't know how many years of experience. I did this. I called her the girl from the wrong side of the tracks, and then how she paid off the mortgage. You can imagine the comments. It was, yeah, some of them were interesting. I hope she didn't read them too much. But the result was that she went from being like a small real estate agent that was just burning her money on this like professional ad that she liked to look at, but it didn't work. And because of this, she became one of the best known and respected real estate investors. She speaks on conferences. She owns many properties now. She's very, very famous, and she sold a lot of that book because of this ad. And she also sold a lot of this book because she let the performance of the ads decide. She didn't decide, I want this ad. No, she was like, okay, we're gonna try everything we can think of that we think could work. And she went with what worked, because people, they of course often use their pride. They put whatever they want, and it's not the best.
Just a question. You
Sure.
tested like hundreds of thousands of different titles, and
Yeah,
just this one pick it up, something like that.
yeah, this one was working the best. Like,
So
of
the
course, like
content-
during the years. Yeah.
The content of the ads would be the same, just changing the title, then boom, like 10x more performance, something like that.
Yeah. That's pretty common. Yeah, it's very
Crazy.
common. It's very common. But
Teach me.
I still can't I still can't predict what's gonna work. Like, I'm just throwing things out there, and some of it works.
Wonderful.
But yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of times
Charles is
like
going to speak about that for outreach too, right? You are at the end, right, Otaka?
Yeah. Sorry, I probably took too long.
No worries.
Yeah. So this was the last tip.
I put the link in the drive. So if
Mhm.
anyone wants to catch up this presentation, read some of those slides, and now it's going to be in the drive with the recordings. Okay, if you subscribe as a builder, a student, or a sponsor, even more, you are going to have access to the drive, which you find all the material there. So Otaka, do you want to leave your email or your contact information in the chat so that people
Sure.
can do follow-up questions for you?
Yeah, I will put my WhatsApp number in case it's in the chat. That's probably gonna be the easiest to reach me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyone has quick questions for Otaka before we start on the email outreach part? Raise your hand, maybe put it here in the chat. Charles, you're there, right?
Yeah.
No. So what do you think, Charles? Let's put the outreach as like the guy from the wrong side of the tracks. Could be a good email title, right? For sending for people.
Yeah, for B2C. B2B would it probably not work super well, but like for Facebook ads, yeah, sure,
We
100%.
can try. We can try. So people, please meet Charles from Top Leads GTM. We've been working on a lot of projects together, doing the craziest things. He runs like crazy in those marathons. Introduce yourself, Charles.
Yeah, I'm Charles. This is my bike, and I know that Otaka has a nice bike as well. So, yeah, who am I? I'm an entrepreneur first. I'm a founder first. That's my identity. If you would pull that self out of me, I would be pretty sad. I'm an athlete second, like Matt mentioned. I'm an ultra athlete, so I'll be running 110K in Brazil, and I'll get to meet Matt physically. Matt's my co-founder, so guess that's how you start businesses nowadays. You run them online, and then you meet people physically. As a kid, that's also how I grew up. I grew up on World of Warcraft. I was the best player in my server. I was also best Call of Duty player. For those that played, I had the 2.5 ratio, meant that I would almost kill 3 people for every death that I would have, which is pretty hard. So shout out to Call of Duty players here. I grew up without a direction after like playing video games. I went on a search for myself. So I was like my party life from probably 15 to 20. Glad that I closed the door on that one because it was pretty toxic, like competing on who could get the most fucked up, you know. So after that, I sort of was like, okay, I need a change in my life. I have just been refused in a law program, and I went to study international business. I didn't do it because I like school. I always hated school. I would make more money than my teacher while they would be teaching. I did it because they allowed me the opportunity to travel to Hong Kong. And Hong Kong flight from Montreal is quite very fucking expensive. I just bought a plane ticket for Brazil, and yeah, it reminded me how these things are. So yeah, it gave me the opportunity to travel around. I became a digital nomad after that, and yeah, I decided to travel the world with my wife that I met here in Oaxaca, Mexico. That's where I am right now. So we traveled the world for a couple of years. I started businesses in between. I started in drop shipping. My first serious business was the nootropic, so a supplement for the brain. Even up to this day, I'm a deep biohacker. I think that's one of my core advantages. And yeah, I discovered basically with that business, that nootropic business, that even if you have the best product ever, if you don't have distribution, you're fucked. Like your business will go down to 100% guaranteed. So nowadays I work with Y Combinator founders, Antler founders, Techstar founders that are funded, that have the best product in the world, but that have shitty distribution. They just don't know how to sell their even selling drugs, impressive. Yeah, shout out to drugs, to caffeine, L-theanine, and all that. And yeah, basically, I work with them because they build the best product ever, but they just don't know like that cold email exists and that you can immediately get in touch with someone and sell them your product. And basically, what I built in the last couple of years, literally a machine that you can insert some coins in it and it will return leads on the other side. So you insert like $1 in it and it returns literally like 5, 10, 15, sometimes $20 if you're really good at it. And even Matt and I nowadays, we're building a tool that is called Clutch GPT. Shout out to the truck that's passing down my street. That is agentifying this whole process. So what I'll show you today real quick is my systems. Actually, while Otakar was talking, I was making money like I used to back in days with my teacher. I was pulling up some campaigns while listening, right? So shout out to multitasking. I have the proper brain to do that, but let me show you some stuff that I was building while Otakar was talking here. So cold email is my thing, right? Like just a bit more background about the agencies that I started back then. Started a Facebook ads agency, so Takar, I was in your niche, so yeah, the B2C stuff for realtors precisely, and also for mortgage brokers, financial advisors back then. That succeeded. I think I brought it to 30K MRR, but I hated working with these people. I still hate them. Most of them, that is, there's still like a couple of successful realtors that are invested in various businesses, but most of them are idiots, to say the least. So I moved out of that. I started a call center after that. That was hell. That was not even legal. So shut that one down. I started a LinkedIn agency back when you could connect with 300 LinkedIn people per day. That stopped scaling, right? Like nowadays it's 20 invites a day. And right after that LinkedIn shut down, and by the way, I'm still not super bullish on LinkedIn. They recently banned my profile like 7 times just because of stupid rules and engineering that is not done the right way. By the way, I cold emailed their team for having my profile reinstalled and it worked. Proves that I'm good at my craft. And by the way, just one other parenthesis, how I met Matt. Matt was a client of mine first, right? And then we became business partners. So that happens more than you would think. That's actually part of my business strategy. But yeah, after I got my LinkedIn account shut down and all that, I was like, okay, I'm going to try this thing called cold email. It's quite controversial. I'm not even sure if I'll be able to get in the inbox. And long story short, I discovered that I could. I discovered that instead of 20 connects a day, I could send 2,000 emails a day and get 10x the amount of responses of meetings. So yeah, it's been a love story, but also a hate story, because in 2020, Outlook and Google started pretty much banning everything and yeah, spamming everything. So that's been pretty hard to get back on track. So there was like a cold email winter, ironically, and I surpassed that one. Let's actually start with that deliverability, right? Like the first thing that I see in my clients or my prospects is that they have shitty deliverability. And yeah, the long story short of everything that I just said is that cold email in B2B, if you're a vibe coder, if you have your AI startup, will always win over everything else. LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn outreach, cold calls, that's why I'm focused on that. Deliverability here, like that is the main asterisk. It is always the best channel, cold email, if you know your shit. If you don't know your shit, it will be terrible. So the first part here is creating a whole bunch of mailbox with low sending volume, right? I do that on Instantly. These mailboxes, they send 10 emails each, very high health scores. You can see it. It's always like delivering. I run Matt's account, so Matt can see the direct results, and we'll talk about some problems that Matt's are experiencing. And even if we generate a shitload of leads, doesn't mean that it's closing, for example. So I'm going to cover that by the end. But as a first start, we create a bunch of alt domains on Namecheap. Okay, we buy a whole bunch of domains here for $10 or $8. We're going to cover questions, by the way, when we're finished here, Q&A. And from these domains, we create a bunch of emails on the cPanel. And a genius part of my system is that it's incredibly cheap, right? So I was saying that cold email is always the lowest CAC. Well, guess what? It's the truth. Like my system, it runs on $150 per month. And in my case, I'm getting 100 leads, sales leads per month, not even talking about the podcast stuff, which I don't think I'll address much today, but yeah, it's very profitable basically. So a bunch of alt domains, we create mailboxes on a cPanel. So you just go in a hosting list and go in cPanel. And you do create a whole bunch of mailboxes. Matt is going to create me an agent to create all these mailboxes, right, Matt? So that I don't have to do it manually. But yeah, for now we need to do it manually, right? So you just go and create all of these mailboxes. Then after you're done with that, you just plug them in instantly here. There's a bulk upload process, fortunately. So you can just upload a bulk CSV in there with all your mailboxes. And then you'll have a semi-solid infrastructure. One important thing, and I won't get into the technicalities here, is that when you upload this CSV, we also create a a SendGrid account. We send through SendGrid. SendGrid is very important. It's a shared IP, right? So that when your email reaches other mailboxes, it actually gets in. Most people, what they do nowadays, the newbies, because I'm a veteran in that thing, I've been doing that for 10 years. I've been using SendGrid for 10 years. Is that they create their mailboxes on Google or Outlook, right? The same guys that will actually flag them as spam. Don't do that. Not just because of the thing I just mentioned, but also because Google and Outlook is $20 a month per mailbox. And I recommend like 100 mailbox per month, or at least 60. So imagine you'd be paying like a couple of thousands in just the mailboxes. That's not scalable. So what we do, we create them on Namecheap with all domains, cPanel, and we send through SendGrid. It's a warmed up IP, it's a shared IP, so your emails will get in. Once all your mailboxes are in, like this here, you warm them up. That's why I use Instantly. They have one of the best warm-ups, and the reputation of these mailboxes should only go up and up, right? And that means that, yeah, ultimately your emails will reach the mailboxes. The campaigns here is the next step once you have a bunch of mailboxes. So these are the campaigns I'll be creating. This should generate a couple of thousands, and I created them while Takar was talking. So it's like 20 minutes of my time. It's good ROI, right? That's always what I'm aiming. It's like a couple of thousands per hour. It looks like this. It's incredibly simple. That's not even AI campaigns. I use a ChatGPT to create these campaigns. It's prompted to write in a specific way to sell my services, but this is still so fucking easy, right? Like, this is not rocket science. And people shit on AI all the time, but my AIs, they convert thousands of humans per year. So these are just haters hating, right? So, and I could dive into complex AI personalized campaigns, but I won't. And my general advice on these complex campaigns is that they're not worth the ROI, right? I'm always aiming for a couple of thousands of dollars per hour. If I invest 1 hour of my time in an AI campaign, it will yield the same amount of if I would yield it 10 minutes to a campaign that would generate the same amount of leads. So I'm always optimizing for that metric, like how much money can I get out of my time? I'm not optimizing for perfection or even reply rate. I don't give a shit about that. So that campaign literally took me 5 minutes to create. It looks like this. It's pretty good. It's optimized to write in my style. So you guys know how to prompt ChatGPT. I won't necessarily get into that. And then I just add leads to it. So these leads, and by the way, yeah, there's like these weird hacks in life and in business and in outreach, like just mentioning people's like old companies. This is like a campaign for people that worked at Gong, the sales company. People have like these weird emotional connections, right? Like to the university that they went in, to their ex companies, and in the corporate place, just mentioning their ex companies and making sense out of it with an AI, that's enough to convert someone in my niche. So you just hatch a bunch of these campaigns and yeah, you'll get a bunch of leads. The leads part, how I got these ex-Gong people, I just go on Apollo here. And yeah, this is another one for SalesLoft. And the logic is that these people, they know GTM, right? They know cold email, but not like me, right? Like invest 10 hours per day in cold email. I'm just not beatable. So even if they do have experience and they can let their ego down of thinking, oh, I know sales and all of that, that's the people that will convert because they know my thing. They know the value of cold email. And yeah, we're just like the same breed, right? We speak the same language. So that's a little hack for that specific campaign. I'm going to come back to some angles with product market fit, but generally it just requires your brain thinking about past experiences that you had, analyzing past results of campaigns and making sense out of it. So I just use an Apollo account here. I have the version in which they give me just a bunch of contacts, right? Like you could also use Apify to scrape Apollo, which is a bit more technical, but you pull out these contacts, you add them to Instantly here, and you start a campaign. And next thing you know, some people will reply. Not all of them will be leads. Some of them are not leads. They'll tell you to fuck off. That's normal. And you don't care about that. Like that sells, right? Like, and that's founding a startup. And if you have your feelings hurt by that, you're just not at the right place, right? So we'll get into that part, but yeah, there's a bunch of people that will actually be interested. And what I do when I get a positive reply, I just filter for the positive ones, status interested. I feed that to an AI that gets them a custom GTM plan. So let me just show you. So I even forgot to reply to that guy, but I have like probably 5 to 7 per day. So what I do, let's say that this guy is like, yeah, send me more details. What I'll do quite literally, and oops, I just activated my mail, which is a hellhole because I have so many emails. So just close that. This guy may actually convert. This guy was in stealth mode, on LinkedIn. So I just scraped stealth startup, and I did that Sunday, and I talked to him on Monday, and he's going to convert probably in 2 weeks. Yeah, what I did, I just sent him the first email here. He replied, and what I do, I just screenshot this thing to GPT. So I have a CleanShot app, right, for a quick screenshot, and I feed that to my Close GPT. I'll also feed this Close GPT data about his company, right, like Meridian Tech or whatever, and my GPT replied this here. So I just copy paste the reply of a GPT so that it's ultra personalized, right? And the call to action in that email is you want to get a GTM plan. So when people see value, right, and that you're not going directly for the meeting in cold email, they're going to convert way more. Also, you're not going to waste your time with tire kickers, right? So I wrote something on my X today that I don't optimize for meetings, like me, I optimize for time again. So I don't want to hop on a meeting with someone that's going to tell me no and that's going to fuck around. I want to send them my prices up front. No one does that. And I'm also filtering for like similar characteristics to mine. I'm extremely picky with who I work with, right? I only work with the best. So in the end, these people are super qualified once they hop on a call. It's personalized, it's value first, and it just gives them a different vibe from the get-go. I'm in the service industry as well, so churn is important, right? And if I would start hard selling someone from the get-go, they would probably churn, they would probably waste my time, they would probably ask for refunds. So that's like some personalized answers that I use. And once these people say yes to the meeting, which is usually with my AI reply here, you get a calendar that looks like this, which is pretty insane, and it's always like that. So that's pretty much what I do in a nutshell. Any questions?
It's crazy. I've put a step-by-step just to see if I missed something. You get a domains on Namecheap, you create the mailboxes on cPanel, plug them on SendGrid to have the shared IP or maybe a dedicated IP, depending on the volume. You connect them to instantly to warm up to like 99% more deliverabilities. And you create campaigns sending like how many emails per day? Thousands,
it
right?
depends. Yeah, it's a couple of thousands usually. I'm bullish on large TAMs. Again, like there's these people that don't make money that are like, yeah, go for quality. Always go for quality, right? Like, I'm like, my time is more important than my ego, right? So it's like I don't care to have like only 200 people per campaign. That's not going to yield much. I love going for large TAM. Also, going for large TAM, it gives you tons of data about people. The argument could be that it would weaken your reputation, your real reputation and your email reputation, but yeah, just like generating momentum and traction and putting energy out there in the universe. And yeah, usually it comes back in pretty large quantities as well. So yeah, it's
You no
like
one remembers cold emails. Like, do you remember who cold emailed you? Some
yeah.
related to
So
spam?
even when someone tells you to fuck off, like tomorrow they won't even remember you. And also when they tell you that, you're just an outlet to their energy. They really don't care about you, You're just an outlet for them to let their anger out. So, and that's fine. You serve a purpose still, right? So yeah,
Internet.
it's always interesting. Like Otakar said, like yeah, it's sort of quantum physics. Like you don't never know what to expect. Like I have a client that's an insurance company, broker. He owns that, right, with multiple insurance brokers, and that's not quite target. But guess what? This client is like my best client. He's always listening to what I have to say. He's super nice. He pays me. So even though he's not in my ICP, I still close that. And I love, maximizing serendipity, basically.
Nice. I have a question from Manuel. Gonna be a good
Yeah,
one.
I gotta say your case is impressive. Congrats on that.
Thanks.
I have a question on down the funnel, no? So you're sharing about your experience, the level of service you provide. Do you have any stats on your customers? How it goes for them too? Any
Yeah.
case studies that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I have tons. I have like 80 testimonials on my LinkedIn or something like that. Matt, can you give me a testimonial?
Yeah, I mean, if you're ready for hitting 100,000 mailboxes until your credit card explodes on centigrade charges, Charles is the guy. I've reached these companies I'm doing here in New York, like Windsurf, Shopify, and all the other leads to Charles. So the guy can do some magic. I got a lot of fuck off answers too, like Charles is saying, but I'm more of a perfectionist. I got to walk out of my comfort zone to try that, and this is kind of saving the campaign. So this is my testimony for Charles.
Yeah, so for Matt, for example, he's instantly for the vibe coding stuff, how many leads, Matt? Like 60, if not 100?
Yeah, about 100 now. Not we started the pipeline and paying not crazy stuff like 300 here, 100 there, less than $500 per month to get these leads.
Right. Now, the problems, right? Because it's not always roses and winning. Actually, that sells, right? Like sales is fucking messy, just like product is, just like life is, right? Closing is really hard. So one last part I'll just cover real quick is something that we built. It's called a close engine, right? Because it's not because someone said yes to something that they will actually buy from you, right? Or even book the call. So what we do once we have leads, people that are interested in a GTM plan, right? Or software call to action, or we've even had a call with them, we add them to a follow-up sequence. So this one gives out proof of what we do, right? Like a testimonial, for example, that you just asked about. So Sunny Ray, Matt is not there. Maybe I should feature you there. And yeah, just give out reasons why they should try you out. If you're a SaaS, for example, in that case, you would put out links, you would put out demo links, videos, right? You would put out more value. What I like doing as well is using GPT to list out all the pain points of your potential clients, and each email is addressing one pain point, right? Just like removing their objections, one objection at a time. And eventually people close. It is right now, it's a tough market, right? Like Matthew, it's not an easy market. People want, like, your competition is killers. Like your competition is hiring me, right? So they're doing things well. And second, like with the tariffs and all of that, this year's been a bit shaky. Obviously the AI market is a bit exempted for that, but what I'm saying is that people will take longer time to buy, so your sales cycle will be enlarged, and also your close rate will be lower than usual. So it's not like all of this is easy. Like if you do that, you might be lucky to survive and hyper lucky to thrive, But if you're not surviving, you're dead. So without this system, like most people don't swim, they just sink. They just burn out money, VC money, and it's game over.
Great feedback.
So
Yeah.
one more. I'm assuming the project you're building together, you will then give us all a discount for being here, right?
Of course. And yeah, don't think we're gonna do you a favor. It's just for you to become a client and for you to be upsold after that.
There you go. There you go.
We have some people that donated, like Manuel supported the academy in the past. Now maybe I can put that in a list, and we can offer a free book with BookWrite GPT for everyone that donated That could be a good campaign, right?
He's talking about Clutch GPT.
Clutch is
AI
more
sales
down it's more down the road, but the
Oh, you
book
need to
writers
launch
are
this
good
now.
one.
They
Okay.
want Clutch. They want Clutch.
I want Clutch, Mateus, that's for sure.
Don't you want to write a book? You told me you wanted to write a book in Endeavor.
Also that.
Yeah, we can give you a free AI-generated book, bro. That's going to be cool. And maybe Clutch.
Sergo's
Sergo.
raising his hand.
How's it going, bro?
Politely raising his hand.
So sorry, I came late from running and I joined late, but I
No worries.
caught up part of your conversation. It's very, very interesting. Guys, I have a question for you. How about GDPR?
GDPR can go fuck itself.
That's going to be taken off the records.
No. Okay, GDPR was never really enforced. Like that's my truthful answer as a guy that did cold email for 10 years. I'm from Canada. They have CAN spam and they have ICANN and whatever, but it was never enforced. If you studied law or politics, it's just not enforced. I've never been fined in 10 years of action. My thesis on all of this, even before we talk about legal, it's psychology. So if you wrong someone, right, if you're arrogant in your emails, if you pretend someone is something that they're not, people will be angry. People will report you. If there's 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 of people that do that, then you get in trouble. I've never heard of any of my peers getting into trouble because I also run mastermind with other cold outreach agencies, which is why I'm coming back to the first thing that I said. It's just not valid. It's just like angry Europeans trying to go for something that is never going to happen. Like try to go for data privacy in the age of AI. It's a worthless fight, I do believe in privacy, but like not anywhere near GDPR would be going. So yeah, no, GDPR is not a thing. Also, generally speaking, I'm not sure about your market, right? But in this age, we can choose who we prospect to. I don't prospect much in Europe because I'm not bullish on Europe from a startup side of things. I love what Paris is building right now. A lot of good startups. Lemlist is from Paris, a cold outreach email platform. But I don't prospect much in European Union in any cases. My favorite markets would be US, obviously some Canada, Singapore, Dubai for sure, Australia, right? But I don't prospect much in there.
Yeah, that can make things easier. Also, it comes down where you pick the leads. If you go for a poll and pick only public emails, you are allowed to process the data with them, reach out to them, right? So for
Yeah,
example,
it's on Apollo in the end.
Yeah.
And these emails are out there, and it's like people that don't want to see ads when they visit these platforms. There's a cost to being to operate a business, to being in business, right? So yeah, it just is, and if you're gonna be polite in the startup world, it's just like this is not for you. These nice and polite people, they may make it to a year or two, but at the end you need to take, I'm not saying to destroy the world, right? But you need to take risk. As long as you send good shit, you won't get into trouble.
Yeah, and it's so fun because your competitors are going to be doing that anyway, and everyone's going to be doing that. If you want to follow the rules, you're going to be left out of the game. You're going to do nothing. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But we are not endorsing in any way unlawful behavior here. We're just stating how the industry is and how it works, right?
Move fast and break things, baby. Shout out to
Yeah.
Zuck.
Wonderful. Yeah. We are above time here, but if you have any closing questions, Charles, also please feel free to put in your contact information here in the chat, how people should reach out to you. The discount codes you're going to give for everyone that comes from Venture Miner, right? I know that we're going to have millionaires and maybe even billionaires here. They're building very cool stuff. We just need to help them and us to sell and to market ourselves, like Otaka was saying, and you were saying, Charles. And we're going to have a lot of great, good paying clients here too. I'm sure of it.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful. So how people should contact you, Charles?
Find out, like, be a hustler and find out my information. And
Okay, that's the
one
first
that reaches
question.
me gets a discount. They get
Okay.
clutch.
Maybe they can go for dmadpack.com and we host a podcast there.
Ooh. Yeah, the domain, the
Yeah,
one and
the-
only.
This is another thing. Let's pretend we never spoke about that. But that's it, people. Thank you all. We're going to put this recording. I guess this is going to be the most precious lesson in the whole artisan cities. Like after you build your app, now you want to make some money, right? Unless you're that rich already. So how to sell, how to market, how to go to market, because we have gold here. We're going to put this recording in the drive. You all have access to it. Thank you everyone that participated today. And thank you everyone watching this recording in the future. I close it for today. Bye bye.